Welcome to the Simple Photoshop project with Adobe Education leader Sean Glumace. For today's project, we're going to create a simple gradient mask, taking two images and merging them together. So for this project, we're going to start off with a file, new. We're going to call this LinkedIn header. And the image we're going to create would be the header that you place on your LinkedIn profile. There is a standard size for that, and the width is 1,192 pixels by 220 pixels. Resolution is 72 pixels. We'll leave it at RGB color and white. This size may change in the future, so always go and check whatever standard size is for anything that you're going to be creating this for, be it Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, or another website. We'll hit OK. And we now have our canvas to start working with. If your layout does not look like mine, go to Window, Workspace, and I'm using the Graphic and Web workspace. Sometimes as well you need to reset. You can do that and it'll reset the layout. So we want to bring in our first image, and if you downloaded the sample files, you're going to have a folder with two images in it. So we're going to do File, Place Embed. And we want to embed these images instead of just opening and placing as a linked image. That way, we're putting these images into Photoshop, and we can open this PSD file we save later, and they're embedded in it, not linked to other files. If those files get lost, moved, or changed, we would only have low resolution and not placed or embedded files. So we're going to place it. And it went straight to my folder. You should have a simple gradient mask folder after unzipping the files. And we have two photos here, beach photo 1 and jungle photo. So we're going to start with the beach photo. You can double click on it or hit place. It'll bring it in, puts a bounding box around it, and you can move this around. If you hold down the shift key, it will constrain it just like any other image in Photoshop or object. I'm going to place it over in the corner. And I'm going to grab one of the handles, and if you hold down the shift key, it will constrain as we resize. If you don't hold the shift key down, you will squish and not be constrained. So hold that shift key down. I'm going to open it up and bring it down until I have the palm tree and the horizon. And once I'm happy, I'll double click. If we look under our layers palette, we now have a layer called Beach Photo 1. It brought in the name of the image. If you wanted to change the name of this image, you can double click on it and change it. Now we need our second image. So we'll do File, Place Embedded, and we'll bring our jungle photo in. And the same thing, I'll move it over, hold down the shift key, and that looks good. So we have two images now, and we want them to merge together. You can select each of these using the Move tool, or M on the key or V on the keyboard. If it doesn't select, make sure the auto select is on. I do want to have the beach image above the jungle image. It'll just make it easier to work on. And I could do that by clicking and dragging my layer up. So now I have the beach photo on top of the jungle photo. The next step is applying a mask. So with the beach photo selected, I'll click on the mask icon at the bottom of the layers palette, and you'll see Add Mask. It's the little square with a black circle in it. I'll click once. And this applies a mask to the beach photo. You'll notice they're linked together, and there's a little outline around the mask. That tells me the mask is selected. So the next step is we're going to select the gradient tool, or G on the keyboard. We want to use the linear gradient, black to white. So if it isn't selected for you, you can select under Basics. It'll be the black to white gradient. Then I'm going to click once with the beach photo selected and having that mask selected. That's the key here, is making sure that mask is selected. I'll click, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key and drag over, and you'll see a line appear. You'll notice where I started, not at the very edge, but just a little in. And I'm not going to go too far. And when I let go of the mouse, that mask now becomes a gradient, letting the image behind it show through. If you don't like what you did, you can click somewhere else, drag again. Whoop. This is what I wanted to show you. You probably don't want it to look like this, where the two overlap. So I'll go back, I'll click and drag again, and stop before that line. And I could do this over and over until I find something I like. Maybe it's a shorter line between the two. Not bad. Maybe longer. So the longer the line, the longer the gradient. If you let go of the Shift key, you can go at different angles as well. That doesn't look real good. But if I go back, starting from the right to the left, I can have an angle. So I'll sit here until I'm happy with it. And this looks pretty good right there. So we go from the beach, this transition here, over to the jungle. So I like what I have. We need to save the document now. So we'll do a File, Save As. And we'll call it LinkedIn Header. This is a PSD or Photoshop document. We'll save it. And now we want to export this to actually upload it to LinkedIn or whatever site you're working on. So we'll do a File, Export, Export As. It defaulted to JPEG. It's about 376 kilobytes, so not a huge document. A PNG file, much bigger. But we'll go with JPEG, and we'll bring the quality down to about 80%. And you could type this in as well if you wanted to, or use the bar. Everything else will leave the same. This gets it around 200K. I'll click Export. It'll have the same name I gave it earlier. If not, you can always change the name here. It will not overwrite this file because this is going to be a JPEG and this is a PSD file. I'll click Save, and I now have my file I can upload and use on the web. So thank you for being here with us on the Simple Photoshop project, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one.